Happy Self Love Sunday. I am Mo Sass, the host of Self Love Sunday with Sass. I am your certified vision and empowerment coach who loves to come every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which you can better your best. And today's Self Love Sunday is sponsored by Divine Design, and they're on Instagram at DVNE Design. And they made this beautiful t shirt. And if you know me, honey, you know this is right up my avenue. Abundance is my birthright, okay? And I am a soul believer, not only in this slogan, but this company. So go check them out, order a t shirt or three, and tell them that Mo sent you. And again, they're on Instagram at DVNE Design, and I'll actually tag them in this video. So listen, we are in September, y'all, and I want to know, what can you do to make this September successful? And I am calling this successful September. And when I looked up what success meant, the definition said a degree of measure of succeeding, favorable or desired outcome, the attainment of wealth, favor, or eminence, right? And I'm like, cool, I love it. And I'm a believer. So, and let me put the disclaimer up here, okay? I don't care who you call your God at all. I'm not here to tell anybody how to do that. But what I will tell you is my life has become abundant because every step I take, God is in it. Okay. So my life is tenfold better. Okay. I 10x my life with God. So whoever you call your God is fine. I just hope and pray that you have a higher power and a higher source walking with you so that you can fully understand that abundance is your birthright too. Okay. Now after that disclaimer, let's get back to it. All right. So when I looked up in the Bible how God views success, it says God views success as having a good reputation, high moral character, spiritual devotion, and obedience to Him. And it's so funny because immediately after I read that, I read this quote and I was like blown away. Okay, here it is. It says, most people don't have a mental deficiency, but a character deficiency. Say it again. Most people don't have a mental deficiency, they have a character deficiency. And what that says to me is mentally, there is nothing wrong with you at all. If there is something going on in your life, if there's lack in any area of your life and you're not successful, 9 times out of 10, it has to do with where you're lacking in character. I said, man, listen. And it also says, what are you building your success on? All right. So I was reading Proverbs 127 and 1, and it says, unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. And so what that says to me is, unless you have God all up and through your success, whatever that model is that you're building, okay, it is all in vain. It is like building your house on sinking sand. I said what I said. Okay. So when we talk about character, we want to talk about today ways to develop your character, but let's talk about first what character is. So character is one of the attributes or features that make up and distinguish an individual. So when we think about character traits, right, I want you to think about what areas in your life where you're not as honest, where you're not being grateful or brave, or not standing up and being a leader, not compassionate, lacking self control, not loving, right? And so when I think about honest, were you not trustworthy? Are you being respectful to yourself first and then to others? Are you responsible? Are you faithful? Are you faithful in your work? So these are some of the character traits. I want you to really sit back and think about it. You know, where at in my life am I lacking in these character traits? So Because here's the thing, we cannot make things better until we stop making them worse. Okay? Period in the story. You can't make your life better until you stop making it worse. And that means that you have to acknowledge where you may be lacking honesty in your life. And I'll tell you this, I tell people this all the time, like working with my clients, the one thing that I noticed is most of them are lying to themselves. So they cannot be honest with you. So I'm going to ask you today, are you being honest with yourself in the reasons why you haven't achieved the things that you want to achieve? Are you of high moral character? And what do I mean by that? So here's the thing. Do you say what you mean and mean what you say by putting action behind that? So we're going to start talking about ways that you can develop their character. Because when I think about success, I think about it holistically, right? So if I want to be successful in my life, that means that I am taking care of my mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and nutritional health. So what areas are you lacking? All right? Here's the thing. We are accountable to carry out our work with diligence and discipline and not laziness. We've been tasked, right? And so here's the thing. Success, if you notice when I mentioned the definition, when I mentioned God's view of success, it didn't say anything about wealth in there. Webster's dictionary did. I don't want you to get hung up on money when it comes to success, because money will come. If you are honest, if you are grateful, if you are being a leader, right? If you are being respectful, handling your business, if you are consistently doing this every single day, if you're consistently working on your character, if you are consistently working on your goals and working towards this every single day, and I'm not saying every day like 7 days a week. Okay, listen, even Jesus had a rest day, y'all. Okay, I'm take the day off. Take a day off. I'm not saying every 7 days a week. However, if you're working towards something, if you're working to achieve success in your life, that means that you have to be consistent. That means that you have to be honest with yourself every single day. That means that you have to love yourself enough to find your way in this world so that you can be successful in whatever this is that you are working towards. All right? So, again, one of the ways that you determine, how you can be more successful is determine what area in your character you need to work on. Okay. And again, we started with honesty because the reason why I always start with integrity is because I find that most people lack integrity. They really do. And how they lack integrity is they're not in alignment. They say they want one thing, right? And their actions are completely, totally different. I have people who say, I desire to be healthy, but don't even want to go walk. Help me. How, Sway? How does that happen? Right? They don't want to eat healthy. Right? And so what do I mean by eat healthy? I always like to give this, and then let me tell you something. Not perfect over here, okay? There is no such thing. However, and I can tell you that when you decide to eat clean, that means eat foods that die quickly. When you think about things that store on the shelf and have shelf life, right? Think about all the products that it takes for it to maintain shelf life. 9 times out of 10, they're not as healthy for you, okay? And again, that's for you to get a system around you, maybe talking to your physician and talking to your nutritionist about foods for you if you are unsure. Okay, but you should be moving your body, i.e. walking or doing some sort of physical activity, minimum 5 days a week, minimum. And no one says you have to do it for an hour. You can do it for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. That's up to you. But the thing is, you cannot say, I want to be healthy. You cannot say, I want to lose a certain amount of weight, and then your actions don't align with you. And a lot of people want to blame that on mental health, but it's not a mental deficiency, as I said in the beginning. It's a character deficiency, period. It's not being honest with yourself. It's not being brave enough to say, despite how I feel, because our emotions are temporary, right? I'm not going to base this permanent decision of my health on this temporary emotion. Am I saying that it is easy? No, I'm saying the concept is simple, right? But it may not yet be easy for you. But how do you make these things easy? And I've talked about this in previous videos. Please go back and check out my YouTube and you can see the way to make it easier is being consistent. If you start walking every single day, start off walking 5-10 minutes a day, eventually that will become easier. And then you can increase it. Okay, so I'm not saying that is it's super easy. No, but I'm saying that you can make it easy if you just start today. So again, I'm going to ask you, where in your character, what trait do you need to work on this month so that you can ensure that September will be successful for you? All right. So let's talk about ways to develop your character, because I don't want to make this video super, super long. So number one, the very first thing you want to do is envision the type of woman or man you want to be in this world. Who do you really want to be? How do you see yourself? Right? Really sit and envision, right? I always talk about, this is why I love vision. You have to have a vision for your life. Envision how you want to feel mentally, your mental health. How do you want your body to look? How do you want your body to feel? Envision physical health. How do you want to feel when you get up in the morning? Right? Emotional health. Emotional intelligence is everything, y'all. How do you want to feel? Right? Listen, how do you see yourself spiritually? Do you have a personal relationship with your God? Because that's what spirituality is. I will tell you all day, I'm spiritual and not religious. That means I have a personal relationship. That means I read my Bible. Listen, I ain't gonna front. There's some days I like to say every day, but there's some days I have missed. I ain't gonna lie in these streets because I'm not perfect. However, I'm consistent. Okay? How do you want to be? What do you want this relationship with you and God to be like? How do you see that? What is your nutritional health like? How do you want to eat so that your body can feel the way you want it to feel? How many of you, because I know I've done this, and don't act like you haven't done this too. How many of you going out to a restaurant and you eat and you feel yourself that you're already full, but then you don't stop and you keep going and you get that feeling where you're like, ugh. The meal doesn't even become enjoyable anymore because you're filled to capacity, right? So I want you to think about that. And envision, listen, and a part of this is envisioning wealth, financial success, because that is a part of it too, honey, okay? Abundance comes in all forms, and yes, wealth is one of them. What do you want that to look like? If you don't have a vision for it, how can it come to fruition? So this is what I'm talking about, how you can't develop the character traits needed if you don't even know what you want. What do you want? So that's number one. Number two, say what you mean and mean what you say by putting action behind it. Don't say that you want to be financially successful, and don't say that you want to be physically successful if in fact your actions don't align with that. So what do I mean by your action? Do you have a budget? Are you investing? Listen, assets over liabilities. What does your asset portfolio look like? If you don't know what that means, you can go, Edward Jones, there's all different sorts of places where you can go get financial literacy. Start off on YouTube. That's what I did. You can't listen to everybody, so maybe you can find somebody you trust. And that's why getting a system of accountability partners and coaches around you can help you. Okay? Again, say what you mean and mean what you say about putting action behind that. All right. Number 3, practice self-discipline. You have to want to do what's right over what's easy. Okay. Let me explain that, because there are some things that come very easily to us. All right. Before I talked about there are some things that are simple, not yet easy, and we have to work towards that. So now I'm talking about doing what's right over what's easy. It's easy for me to lay in front of the TV and watch TV all day. It's easy for me to Netflix and chill it on the series all day. It's easy for me to sit around and just eat all the junk food and fast food. I've done it. Okay, I've done it, right? It's easy for me to be complacent. It's easy for me to be lazy. But doing what's right, meaning leaving a legacy for your family, right? Do what's right. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Say what you mean what you say. Put the actions behind it, right? Be grateful. Be loving. Be trustworthy. Be responsible. Doing what's right sometimes feels hard, right? We talked about that. But the way to make it easier, again, is consistency. And remember what I said, we are accountable to carry out our work with diligence and discipline, not laziness. That's easy, okay? So that's what I mean by practice self-discipline. Be faithful to yourself. Be faithful to others. Be loyal to yourself first. 9 times out of 10, if you're not loyal to others, it's because you're not loyal to yourself. Again, you're not honest with yourself. That's why you can't be honest with anybody else. Out here just ripping and running and tearing up people's lives, all because you are torn up. Okay? Part of practice self-discipline. Number 4, be accountable. Not just over yourself, but who do you have around you that holds you accountable? Who says that you're out of alignment? Who says that you're saying one thing and that you're doing something completely opposite, self-sabotaging yourself and others? Who holds you accountable when you're lacking self-discipline, right? That's why I talked about, and please go back and check out my YouTube where I talked about building community or having a community around you. It's so important, okay? Number 5, if you are a believer, you have to die to pride every single day. That's a huge part of developing character. And so when we talk about pride, okay, pride means thinking more highly of your own ideas and courses of actions over God, okay? You got to die to that thing. Take it to God in prayer, all right? Pride will actually tell you to tell that lie. I'm real talk, because it's told me a few times. I told you, I keep it real, right? Pride will tell you to tell that lie to that person and not be honest. Okay? Pride will tell you to do something. Let me tell you something. Pride will have you, listen, being in a whole situation with somebody you know you don't have no business. Instead of listening to God, who told you that business partner that you were looking for wasn't it. The one you got in business wasn't it. You knew it from the beginning. That relationship, you knew it wasn't it. But honey, that pride, thinking that you know better, will have you all entangled. We're going to talk about them entanglements there, okay? That part. So again, number 5, die to your pride every day. Go to your God. I'm not going to tell you who your God is. Go to your God. Pray. Meditate. Ask God to help you develop your character. If it is a struggle, if you are trying to change your life over. All right? And lastly, be intentional. Integrity doesn't happen by accident, especially if you're somebody who, lie to lie. And let me just say this. I understand that people don't lie, just some people, okay? Because I have an uncle that would be lying. But some people lie because they are afraid. They are afraid they have abandonment fears. They have rejection fears, and I get it. And if that hasn't been a part of your life, right, it doesn't happen. It's a choice. You have to make the choice every single day. You have to be intentional about wanting to be better every single day. Be intentional, all right? Make the choice to say, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to speak my truth, first to myself and then to others. Be intentional about saying no. No is a complete sentence. Stop saying yes to things that take you away from you and your success and the things you're supposed to be working on, right? To please others. Say no. Okay? Be intentional about filling your mind with good things. Creating good habits breeds good character. So what are some good habits to have? Listening to something positive every single day. reading something positive every single day, right? You can go on YouTube. They have all sorts of places and things you can listen to every single day. Getting in tune and touch with your God as much as possible every single day. Listen, prayer doesn't have to always be on your knees. Sometimes I'm outside walking, which I'm going to do today, this morning, and I'm talking to God. Be intentional about the relationships that you get yourself in. Be intentional about developing those relationships so they're not all just transactional relationships. All right? So again, those are 6 ways to develop your character. Envision the type of person you want to be. Number 1, say what you mean and mean what you say with the actions you put behind it. 3, practice self-discipline. 4, be accountable. 5, all believers, I don't care who you believe in, okay, die to your pride every single day. And 6, be intentional. Be intentional about developing your character every single day. I want you, when you leave this video, to sit down and say, what areas in my character traits am I committed to working on for this entire week so that I can be better? I really want you to work on this entire month. But again, every single Sunday, I'm going to talk about different ways to for September to be successful for you. We're just starting off with character because, again, most things in your life are lacking because of your character. It is a character issue. Okay? And I'll say this. When you walk in high moral verb, and when you walk in that high moral character, eventually the things that you go through mentally, they start to dissipate. Why am I saying that? Because when I held on to God and I started to die to my pride, it was so ironic because I wanted it to be my way. I wanted to hold on to things that I was supposed to let go of. Therefore, that's why I'm mentally messed up. When you try to hold on to your past, you cannot be present, so your future doesn't look good. You cannot hold on to things. You have to learn to let it go. Let it go so that you can be present, so that you can be intentional, so that you can build your character. I don't care who they said you was yesterday. You get an opportunity right now here today to say, I no longer am going to be that. I'm no longer going to be, I'm no longer going to be a liar to myself. And I'm telling you, that way I'm not going to lie to others. I'm no longer going to be a follower. I'm going to be a leader in my own right. Okay, we're all leaders and followers to some degree. But for the most part, I want you to lead in whatever this is that you are tasked with, right? Whatever area you want to be successful in, you got to be able to lead. Got to be respectful. Got to have self-discipline, willpower, not make permanent decisions based upon temporary emotions. Emotions are fickle. All right? So I love you for listening today. I hope that this was a blessing to you. I hope you have the most amazing week, and I will talk to you next Sunday.